what is a trend in trading? A trend in trading are stairs, right? Are stairs. Let us say that we have stairs like this that are going up like this. Let me draw stairs. In trading, in trading. So a trend in trading is there. Why? Because you see, how do we know that those stairs are going up? It's because we have, first of all, this side that is that is inclined to the upside, right? Then we have this flatness, a plateau. I'll call it a plateau. This is where people place their feet to climb the stair, right? And then we have this side that's inclined to the upside. Then we have this plateau where the person will see place his feet. Then we have this side inclined to the upside, and then we have this plateau where the person will place their feet. Those blocks have a side that are going up, but if we had like side that were going down like this, that would have been a downtrend, because those blocks are half side that are going to the upside. We say that this one is an uptrend, right? There's only two trends in trading. It's rather an uptrend or a downtrend. There is no middle. So for the downtrend, you realize that if we create like blocks like this, stair blocks like this, where people place their feet, it is the plateau, and then the side where that's the incline, it is showing that that prove that this one is going to the downside. For example, this one is inclined to the downside, right? But this one is the plateau, and then inclined to the downside, then a plateau, then inclined to the downside, then a plateau, then inclined to the downside. This one shows that those stairs are going to the downside. So this one is then a downtrend, right? A downtrend. So it is the same thing in trading. We will see it in trading by using SSB and Kijun, but mostly SSB and Kijun. I will explain to you how. So let me give you a last example. Let's also say, for example, you remember the example that I gave you about Ishimoku. Ishimoku, right? I said that here is the Ishimoku, the god eye that we're looking, the Papa Saba, Mama Saba, Kijuma, and thank you, sending food. But let us say that we had client house like this. This is the first client house. This is the roof of the client house. And then this is the second client house. This is the roof of the client. And then this is the third client house. This is this roof. If you take an horizontal line is the line that passes between your left eye and your right eye. That line, that's an horizontal line. So this is the first roof, right, of the first house. But the second roof, like you take the top of the roof, you place an horizontal line like this. The second roof has a plateau. What I call plateau here is this horizontal line that is higher than the other one. So it's like the second roof break the plateau of the first one. This is the plateau, the horizontal line that passes through the toppest point of the roof. And then the third roof has a plateau that is higher than the second one. That's what I call break of roof, right? Break of roof. Like the second roof break the horizontal level of the first one. The third roof break the horizontal roof of the second one. Then this one, that's how we know that this one is an uptrend, because this is a mountain. That's how we know that this one goes to the upside. Okay, so let us go now to the chart, and I'll show you it with on TradingView. So uh, as I told you, in real life, we talk about stairs. It's rather a trend that goes to the upside that we call uptrend. So an uptrend or a downtrend. There is no middle. There is no middle. Like what is the trend now? It's like the trend now is holidays, Christmas. That's the trend, right? Christmas and New Year Eves or Halloween. So those are the trend for a specific moment, right? For the end of the year trends. So that's what is hot now. So there's only two types of trend, and we look at it with SSB. So let us go to the chart. Here's the chart here. Let me erase everything that I did here. And then let me remove Ishimoku. So first of all, if we take this side like this, you see this naked price, right? When you remember about the houses that I told you, I said that this is the mountain like this, and then you have the first house here, this is the roof, and then the second house here, this is the roof, and then the third house and this roof. So you have this roof plateau is lower, so the second roof plateau is higher than the next one. Those are the roof here. You see, the price is moving like this one is the first roof, and then this one is the second roof, right? So that's the break of roofs, right? When 1.2, that's how you know that this one is an uptrend. And then this point is breaking the previous one. So this is the third one. This one is breaking the fourth one is breaking the third one. And then the fifth one is far above. And then the sixth one. So those roofs are going up and up, though, like house roof, right? And then the number 6 too, the number 7 is also higher than this one. And then the number 8 is higher. So that's what I call break of roof, BOR, right? But that's for naked chart, right? But since I'm a volume trader and I advise you to be a volume trader, we then use Ishimoku. We then put Ishimoku. And then you have a black line, which is that I called last time Papa Saba, right? And then you have all of the line of Ishimoku. You have the green line, the orange line. So that is how that's exactly what you get now. And then and then after that now let me show you how to identify then the trend with a break of roof. So let me take from this side, from this downtrend. So you take a rectangle and then you place a rectangle like this. You mark it red because this one is we already see that all of this is a downtrend, right? So, but there are intricacies there are small specific data that I want to highlight in there. So when you have an inclination like this, is a downtrend. This is the candle that went down with it. Then you have a plateau. A plateau, even a small plateau like this is a plateau. This one is a plateau, right? This one is a plateau. But since they are all over almost the same place, I will take it like a stair, a specific stair. Then you have this inclination, but you have a small plateau here, and there's no problem about that. So let me take. So that's how you know that these stairs are going to the downside, right? It's like you are going to the downside of your apartment to go to the bottom floor, and then you are descending the stairs like this, right? This is a stair, this is another stair, and then this is another one. This is an inclination. So what I want to highlight here, let me make a pause, and then I want to highlight something very specific about this. You realize that this black line is called SSB, right? If you come here, you will see that lagging span B is 52 periods. That's what I call Papa Saba in the training, right? So this is how this lagging span B is moving, like a stair, right? But there are two things here. There is inclination and plateau, right? There's one side that is inclination. Inclination is this one. When this black line is not horizontal, is the inclination, and when it is horizontal, it's called plateau, right? The inclination, the inclination here is what? A downtrend, right? This one is an inclination. I mean, this inclination is a down. So it's down. So how do you know that this? How do you know the trend? Because this is a trend name. This is a trend name. How do you know the trend? How do you know the trend for the plateau? For the plateau, you don't just counter. You counter is the inverse of the down. The inverse of the down is what? Is up. If you are not going down, you are going up. That is rather you fall or rather you rise. So that's why for this inclination down, this one was the candle that went down with it. But arrive here at this plateau, all of this, those are those green candles that are rising to the upside like this are created by this series of plateau, right? So that's what you need to understand. So if you continue down there, you will realize that you see this series of plateau here. This series of plateau here is those are the candles. How do I know that? You can just take the ruler. You can come here on projections, and then you take a place of date and price, and then you select from where the plateau started, 25 candle to the back side, 25 candle. How do I know that those are candles? If you see very well here, you see 25 bars. Bars means candles. So since the Ishimoku cloud is advanced by in front by 26 candles, like this. You see this? This is the Ishimoku cloud. You take the ruler, you place on the mouth of the cloud, and then you select the most recent candle. You see that the most recent candle is exactly at 25 candle behind from this point to this point. From this candle to this cloud mouth is 25 bars. So let us continue then. So when the plateau started here, so you realize that when the plateau started here, at this point in time, the candle dark was this one, and from this to this candle was all of this plateau. So you see that the direction is which direction? Upside, right? That proves that plateau has. So when the candle are moving and then SSB is printing, this plateau is showing you correction, and this inclination to the downtrend is showing continuity of the trend, because the trend here, when you see the trend, the trend here is globally to the downside, right? The trend here is globally to the downside. So that's how you can place rectangle like this. That shows that the trend is to the downside. So at a certain point, I will show you how to understand that when the trend went. Here, I will just pass this one for a little bit because this one was a little bit upside. But from here, we have we still have a plateau. Let me continue to the point where I want to explain to you. We still have plateau here like this. I needed to make it red. So this one, all of this trend is going to the downside. Okay, now I have inclination. Those are inclination to the down, right? And then here I have a plateau. Then I have a small inclination to the down. Then I have a plateau again. Then I have a small inclination to upside. I will let it red. I will explain to you very soon. Then I have those other downtrend. So let us continue, because we need to arrive at a point where we understand when, since this global trend is, because you are descending stairs, right? Since global trend is to the downside, like this. This one is an inclination to the downside. We need to know when the trend changed to the upside. So, okay, let me show you. This one is a plateau, right? This one is an inclination to the downside. And then this one is a plateau. And then you have a small inclination to the downside here again. And then you have the last plateau here like this. Now, for the future price now, you know that it's the uptrend because the candle are already printed. But when do you know that those are the uptrend is about to come without, if the price is at the future like this, if the price is like this, like now, because for the future price we don't know yet the future. So how do you know that for an instant T? So you will come here, you realize that there is what I call change of plateau. Change of plateau is COP, right? To signify that the change of plateau signify that if the plateau were going to the downside like that, plateau are going down, right? It means that we have a downtrend. Now, when the plateau change like this is the last plateau here, and then this is the previous last plateau, right? And then you see an inclination to the upside. And at this level of the previous plateau, because this one is the last one, at this level of the previous plateau, this one is the last one. When the SSB cross the level of this last one, at this point, you will know that the candle will be 25 bars behind like this. You will know that at this point, we already have a change of trend. So the global trend here was downtrend, but when you break the previous last plateau, we go to uptrend. That's what they are called COP, change of plateau. So that's how the structure of volume are working. So you realize that this one, let me take an horizontal line. This line is the last line, is the last plateau to the downside. And then when we're going down, this is a previous last, right? So previous last plateau, this is the previous last plateau, right? When the SSB created another plateau, then the inclination went to the upside at this point in time, at this point here. We broke the level of the previous plateau. So you then take your ruler like this, you place a point here, and then you count 25 bars behind. 25 bars behind give you this candle, this fattest candle, this one, right? And then that's when you know when the change in trend happened from this big candle. that's when you know that, okay, now we are going to the uptrend because of this break of plateau. So that's exactly how you know that there is a change in trend. All right. So the break of plateau then start to the upside now, because what I show you here, those are break of plateau like this. Those are break of a plateau, horizontal plateau, then an inclination, then another plateau. This plateau is broken by this one. All right. So this one breaks the previous one, and then it breaks again below, and then it breaks again below. But the change arrives when you have the change, the break of the previous, the previous plateau here, and then you create another break of plateau that are going up like this, that are going up, that are going up, that are going up. So those break of plateau, successive break of plateau, are called market structure, right? So that is when the change in trend start with Ishimoku. So now you have, now I'll select green rectangle now. I will take it like this one. I'll take it this one long like this just to go a little bit faster, because I'll understand actually what is a plateau. So now this one is an inclination to the upside. You see each time you have a plateau, you see each time, for example, this plateau started here, this long plateau. If you take a ruler like this from this one to this bar, you see that those are the candles, right? All of these candles are all of this one till here, like this. All of these red candles are this plateau. So that's what I'm talking to you about. How to identify correction. Plateau is just the plateau has a direction. Like inclination, we know inclination is to the upside. Plateau also have the it counters like this plateau here. This is the direction of this plateau, the trend of this plateau to the down. But it counters just the one that were up here, this one, this big one. Those were those kind of going up now. But the candle of the plateau is this one, right? So when you do something like this, it's not because it's a plateau that the market is doing nothing. No, it's a plateau because when the price will arrive at this level, when you start seeing a plateau, you know that SSB stay plateau, you know that it's going down like this, right? So that's how you know that the market is going is going to the uptrend, or is the market is doing a correction, because you can also trade during correction. So then let me continue, because I have another tips to show you. So that's how I do rectangle. I do another rectangle here. I'll do another rectangle here. I'll do another rectangle here like this. I will do another rectangle. Let me consider all of this as an inclination to upside, but you understand. I'll show you exactly what is an inclination and what is not an inclination. So then you have an inclination to upside, then you have a plateau. Then let me consider this, because you have many. I don't want to spend my time just drawing all of the rectangles. So the goal is for me to extend to you something very specific. Then you have an inclination. Then you have this this one, that's what a plateau. Then you have an inclination. Then you have all of this plateau. Then you have this inclination. Then you have this plateau, and then you have this inclination to the upside. Then you have this plateau. So let me zoom here, because this is where I want to do my explanation for you to understand. Then you have inclination here, right? So from here, because we already have those candles that are printed to the downside like this, we can say, yes, it is a downtrend. But when will you know that it will be a downtrend, a change in trend will start? When, if you will remember, you need to know that when you have a plateau that are going up like that, right? This one, like this, and then you have the last plateau on top here. So this one is the previous last, this one is the last. So when SSB come back against at this level and break the level of the previous last plateau, you have a change in trend here. Then the candle of this point will be the candle of change in trend. So for this one, it will be this plateau here. Why this one is not a plateau? I will explain to you very soon. So this plateau started here. The break, like SSB bended himself and inclined to here. When SSB arrived at this same level, horizontal level, the candles were at this level, 25. These 25 candles. This is a candle here, right? This is the candle that created the change, right? So from here we have the confirmation. This is a confirmed change in trend. A confirmed. They are changing trend. Like, for example, you will tell me that, don't you see that all of these were inclination to the downside? Yes, those were inclination to the downside. But I'm talking to you, when will it be confirmed, right? Yes, those are inclination to the downside, so you can still take those, because all of these were down to the downside too, right? You can still take the trade to the downside because of this inclination. There's no problem. So but the confirmed one is this candle, right? The confirmed, when will it be confirmed, is this candle. Okay, so how do you identify the plateau exactly? I have a tool here that is called a ruler. You come here, it is the angle of trend. If you take SSB from this point to this point, it would give you the angle. If the angle is zero as an angle is is a plateau, but more than 0, like 1 degree, is already an inclination. But you see that you have 0.35. But for this one, is from this point to this point, this inclination is 81 degree, right? From if you take the ruler and then you place the first point here, and then the second point here, like this, 54 degree. So those are inclination. But the plateau is 0 degree, right? When you have 0 degree, everything that starts with 0 is 0 degree, 0.2 is 0, right? So that's why you cannot, when you on zoom like this, you can think that, oh, this one is a plateau, this is when the trend will start changing. No. Check real plateau like this one, or this small one is also a real plateau, right? So if you are not sure, you take the ruler, right? So, okay, let me make another mention. Let me take another example for the change in trend. A change in trend, the COP, the COP, the change of plateau. For example, here, you had a downtrend, right? From this point, you have a downtrend. But inside this, I wanted to highlight to you that something that makes the difference. You realize that the arrive here, this one was the last plateau to the down when we are at this point, right? Last plateau to down. But the previous last plateau was this one, right? But when you do realize that SSB went down, created this plateau, went down, created this plateau. But when you move to the upside, it did not break the previous plateau to the upside. So we did not have a change of plateau, a COP, right? We do not have this change of plateau, right? Then arrive here, SSB stay below the previous plateau, and then it start going down again. That was just a long correction to the upside. This one, all of this correction, this big correction, right? That's what created this, has been created by this one. So this change in, it is different here. For this one, you will realize that you see that when you need to zoom very well, when you zoom like this, the last plateau to the downside is this one, and then the previous one is this one here, right? But SSB come and cross above. It did not. If SSB would have stayed below like this, and then keep doing this, like it did not cross at this level, it stayed below, we could have continued the downtrend. So, for example, if you come at this level, right? If you come at this level, you see that we have, what is the trend now? So what is the trend now for this cloud mouth? You will see that the trend is the downtrend, right? Because let me give you two different type of trend that we have. We have the dip trend, and the current trend. The current trend is given by the mouth of SSB. That is the mouth of the cloud. SSB here, the mouth. So this mouth, the inclination is to the downside. So the downside. But the current trend, that's the current trend. But the dip trend, you take the last inclination before the mouth. The last inclination is this downtrend. So this is also a downtrend, right? Do you understand? So for SSB giving you us a dip trend and a current trend that are going down. But if you go, let me take another time frame. When you take another time frame, for example, this one, what's the trend here? Looking at the mouth. You are not forced to look all of this. You know that this one was downtrend, go down. I have here, we break the plateau to the upside like this. Arrive here, we had this one, a plateau here, another plateau here. So we have a change of plateau from this one. So now we are in an uptrend. Now we start moving to the upside. Then we have a plateau. Then we move up. Then we have a plateau. Then we have a plateau. Then we have. So even here above, you have the last plateau up to the top side, then the the plateau to the downside here. The previous plateau, the last plateau, the previous plateau. But then SSB broke it below. Then we are now in a downtrend, right? We are now in a downtrend. This is the plateau, and then this is the last plateau. So then for now, you have this one is the most recent plateau, and then the previous plateau. So we did not yet break this previous plateau to the upside. So what is the trend now? So what's the trend now? So this is what we have, right? What's the trend? The trend is like you need to have a box like this. The current trend, I will name it C, the current trend, right? And the deep trend. The current trend is given by the mouth here, the mouth of SSB, this mouth. So you see that this one, this SSB is a plateau, right? So since it's a plateau, right, we know that a plateau, the trend of a plateau just counter the previous trend. The previous trend was what? This is the previous trend, downtrend. So the deep trend is the previous inclination. The deep trend is just the previous inclination. The previous inclination is the deep trend. So downtrend. The deep trend, that's the deep trend, the previous inclination. The deep trend is given by the previous inclination. The current trend is given just by the mouth, the last point, black point here. Since we know that is a plateau, if we know that the plateau, the direction of the plateau is the counter of the previous inclination, so uptrend. Do you understand? That's how that's why you see that it's going to the upside. So that's how you understand the current trend. So most of the time, I will take the deep trend just to see the last inclination like this, right? Exactly. That's what you need to do. So if you take another example here, for example, okay, let us take an example here. So what is the trend? We are not forced to do all of this plateau, rectangle from the past to now. So we just do deep trend and current trend, right? Deep trend and current trend. So you know that the current trend is given with the mouth of SSB, and the deep trend is the last inclination, right? So SSB here is a plateau, right? Another is a plateau, okay. So I will need to look at the previous inclination to know the direction of the plateau. So the deep trend is just the last inclination or the previous inclination. The previous inclination is this is the previous inclination before the mouth, the previous inclination to the downside. So weekly we are in a downtrend, right? And then the current trend is just a plateau. The plateau is just the counter of the trend, the counter of the counter of the previous inclination. The previous inclination is this one. So it's uptrend. The previous inclination was going down, and then the plateau is going up. So as easy as that. As easy as that. Okay. So that's how you do it. So that's how you know that you have the current trend and the deep trend. Most of the time, I will take the deep trend. I will just look at the last inclination. Like if the on the asset the thing is going like this, and then you are at this level, I will not take you can take the current trend just to understand that now because you have to trade now. But globally, sometimes I will take globally, like I will say, okay, this is the last inclination that happened. So it means that the trend, the volume are going down now. But I understand that we have a plateau. So even though the volume are going down now, people are recharging money. So we are in an uptrend, current trend. That's how to see. I hope it is clear. So the exercise that I want you to do is this. You need to also understand that you can do it for SSB, and also you can also do it for Kijun. So let me show you for Kijun. So we're doing rectangles for SSB, right? I can also do it for Kijun because Kijun is what I call the short-term trend. SSB, that's the black line, is the like general term long trend, like long, big overview. But Kijun, this is the green line, yes. Let me take the plateau from here. I'll put a purple color. You will see that the plateau here, then you have a long inclination. I'll just put general type of thing. So just for you to understand. Then you have an inclination to downside, then you have a plateau, then you have this long inclination, then you have this. I know it's dirty, but I know you understand too, right? So, and then you have this plateau for Kijun. I'm just looking at the green line, this green line. So, and then you have a downtrend like this. A downtrend like this. Going down like this, and then you have a plateau here, and then you have a downtrend again. And then you have a plateau. So this plateau, right? What happened is that Kijun also shows the same deep trend and current trend. So you realize that this one, for looking at Kijun like in short term type of trend overview, looking at Kijun, you realize that Kijun were going, the stairs are going to the downside, right? You are going to the downside like this. Like if you are descending the stairs, so that's why we know that, this is how we know that you are in a downtrend. So it's like, for example, if you cannot, you know that you are in a downtrend, like deep downtrend, because if there is a stair like this, you are descending from your apartment stair to go to your car, and then you are at the bottom floor like this, and then they ask you, were you going up or were you going down? What will you say when you are at the stair? That you were going up? No, you will say that you were going down, right? You were descending a stair. So that's why, there's the same reason why uh, you have a downtrend, a global downtrend. That's what I call deep trend, because I will take the last inclination of junior. That's what I call deep trend. If you remember the example, deep trend and current trend. But currently, even though we are in a deep trend, but currently, when you realize, because that's a deep trend, just to have an overview, because trader, what you need to understand is that trader must trade for the trend that is currently now, current trend, right? But I'll show you deep trend and current trend. So the current trend here is given by this plateau. So this plateau, what is the trend of it? Up or down? The trend of this plateau is the counter of the previous inclination. The previous inclination of Kijun is this one, was down, right? This is the previous inclination. So this plateau is, the trend is up, is an uptrend. So that's why you see those candles going up like this. And for Kijun, the candle, this is the mouth of Kijun here. The candle is the exact same candle at the same level vertically. It's not, you don't take the ruler for Kijun. It's at the same point. Because for SSB, you are forced to take this SSB here. Look at the candle on the past here. That way, like you take the ruler like this to the back side, right? Okay, so that's how you understand then the short term, the long term, the short term, and then the current trend and the deep term. So the last inclination. So what I just show you is that there's a long term that trend that we use SSB with, the short term trend that we use June with, and then the deep trend. When you are in a long term trend, you can have the deep one and the current one. So you look at the mouth of the mouth of the thing, all right, the mouth of the cloud, like this. You look at the mouth here to know the current trend. The mouth is the last printed Ishimoku point, is the mouth, this one to the right side. This is it. So, okay, so basically that's what I wanted to show you for trend. So what you need to understand is that the exercise that I want to give you is open a chart, use a pair of your choice. Like for me, I use USD JPY. Do those rectangles, identify two trends. Like for example, this one is a graph that I did before I this course. Do the down part for SSB and the up part, like the downtrend number 1 is in red and the uptrend number 2 is in green. For up, do it for SSB, the black line, and Kijun. This is the Kijun that I did here too. This for SSB and Kijun, and then do a hand drawing. A hand drawing like me, you can just do a hand drawing help you master the information later. A hand drawing like when I draw like this, right? You can just do it like this, and then you draw rectangles here, and then you draw rectangles in a piece of paper, and then you will send it in the group, and student will give you their opinion. Just a simple hand drawing of a downtrend and an uptrend, right? And then identify when there is a change in trend. You need to identify when there is a change in trend using this blue. For example, if I use this blue line, I know that the trend will go to the upside, will be confirmed, a change in trend confirmed, will go to the upside when you have this black line of SSB breaking it to the upside like this. So that's when the change in trend will happen because of this. That's when the trend will continue this uptrend. But now we are in a deep downtrend. But if you break it to the upside, you have it. So you can also do it for past chart. You can go to the past like this, past chart like this. Things that happen already, like this when you had a change in trend here, for example. You can do it for this one. So when we broke for this one, yeah. Yes, when you broke this one, this plateau, yeah, this point is a change in trend. You just take it like this. You because you will do screenshot, you look 25 candle before 25 candle, and then you mark it. Okay, this is the point of the SSB, and this is the candle of the change in trend here, right? And then you take a screenshot of it, you send it in the group, right? You do also for this one. You do also for this plateau. Send also this screenshot. Send also your hand drawing screenshot in the group so that other students will give you their opinion. And please don't criticize, don't judge people. Just look at positive things that the other person did. And even when you want to do the other student did, even when you want to give an advice, stay positive because we did not born with trading in our daily or in our brain. So we are all learning. So stay positive, and then let us meet for the next video.